FiveM is dying. If you didn't know that, well, now you know. And the crazy part is, it's not Rockstar's fault. If anything, it's actually the community's fault and the developers' fault. And not only that, the best part is, I actually think it's a good thing. Here's why. We're going to be reacting to a video that summarizes the leaks that recently happened uh, in regards to the FiveM developers. They released about 100-page document. I went through all of it. I thought about making a video summarizing everything, but I think this video does a great job of capturing the essence of everything. So I'm gonna be commentating my thoughts on, as somebody who's been in the space since 2015. So I'm known as one of the OGs. Now, I'm not a popular creator like some of these no pixel people are, but I've been a part of the space from the very beginning. So when it comes to saying an opinion, I think mine is probably one of the better ones. That being said, please watch to the end, because there's going to be tons of information that you're going to want to comment on and you're going to want to actually hear. The problem is with this information so far that's been on this video, or just even these leaks, people just hear one thing and then they tune out. Actually watch to the end, because you're going to need to be as informed as possible. Sorry for this 2-minute intro, but I just need you guys to really understand that this is important, so you know what's coming. All right, let's get into it.
Every GTA player knows what FiveM is, the massive roleplay platform that hosts famous servers like NoPixel, SSB, and District 10. Since its rise to popularity in 2020, it has since become one of the most streamed games on Twitch and was even bought by Rockstar back in 2023, proving its worth to the franchise. But while on the surface FiveM has seemed incredibly successful, behind the scenes, it's seen legal battles, shady business deals, rogue employees, leaked files, and ulterior motives from Rockstar that were all exposed in a 100-page document released this week. All of which points to one inevitable fact: that FiveM is bound to collapse very, very soon.
And it's not that it's bound to collapse. It will collapse. I need people to understand that if you're somebody right now, like spending money on a FiveM server, I need you to understand FiveM is going to die. It is. All these creators have been like, is it dying? Because they want to clickbait you to the next one. No, it is actually going to die. If you read the leaks, basically what he's going to cover in this video, it's going to die.
This is the unfortunate downfall of FiveM, and why this may have been Rockstar's hope all along. It all started back in 2015 with the release of GTA 5 on the PC. FiveM would be created by a developer simply known as NT Authority, or NTA for short. While still primitive by today's standards, these FiveM servers would garner a small dedicated community of players who saw the vision that NTA had for the platform. And due to the extra growth, NTA would hire members who go by Disguise, LWSS, Gotti, Thorium, and Tabara.
That's crazy to see these names.
All of which will be referred to as the original developers.
The OGs.
Unfortunately, however, as these servers grew more and more popular, FiveM would grab the attention of those NTA feared the most: Take-Two Interactive. Take-Two, the publishers behind Grand Theft Auto, quickly took notice of FiveM's success, and in 2017, Take-Two would not only send private investigators to NTA's house, but they also took legal action against NTA and banned them from ever modding on one of Take-Two's IPs ever again. Defeated, NTA had no choice but to abandon the project, but after seeing the FiveM community attempt to revive what was taken away from them, NTA would start working on FiveM once again, instead under a secret alias. This would go on for the next 3 years as NTA worked with a small team of about 20 contractors to improve FiveM and turn it into what we know it as today. Around this same time in
which, again, you guys gotta understand, this is not, at this point, it's being developed, but it's not a full-scale operation yet. So it hasn't reached its peak.
2020. NTA
Not in quality as in content. No, I'm talking about as in its capabilities yet.
would reluctantly hire 5 developers to help with FiveM, who would eventually become the antagonist of this story, a collective
Yeah.
of members simply known as Groot Gang. Groot Gang consisted of 5 different members: Groot, Thurs, Nemoa, Zin, and Kane. Although they had been hired to work on the project alongside the existing staff, Groot Gang allegedly did very little to contribute from the start, and management of the group was poor. But overall, work was still being completed by the original core group of developers, and things at this point were starting to look up as FiveM became extremely successful in this year.
Yeah.
However, despite Groot Gang not doing much to advance the project, Groot Gang had dangerous plans for FiveM.
So again, when I said earlier it hasn't reached its peak, it now hit its peak, but the development team is about to sabotage. This is again all in the leaks. So as the 5M train has finally reached its peak, the developers themselves are going to sabotage 5M.
And one that would ultimately lead it to its downfall today.
So it's like
after stealing internal data from the back end of
Boom,
5M,
boom.
Groot went behind NTA's back and secretly held meetings with Rockstar talking about a possible acquisition. Remember, at this point, NTA is still legally barred from working on any Take-Two IP in any capacity, so Groot getting into talks with Rockstar about acquiring the company puts NTA into a very tricky position. While obviously hesitant about the idea, NTA eventually went along with the plans, and in August of 2023, Rockstar had officially acquired FiveM for $20 million.
Which, by the way, is not a lot. There's servers that are making just as much as this in their lifespan. So again, to recap, it's reaching its popularity. As that's happening, they have to do something with this with 5M, because the main person who developed it can't really work on it. So they got to get it bought. Got to get it bought so that they can actually work on it, or at least that's the assumption, right? But again, these rogue developers are actually wanting to. I think get greedy. We're gonna see.
Now, you may be asking yourself, why would Rockstar want to buy the company that they spent years trying to take down and even went as far as to hire private investigators as a scare tactic to have it removed? And you will see exactly why in a little bit. But while on the surface this seemed like a win for the modding community, internally, everything went wrong. As it was detailed in the document released this week, the first month of the acquisition was a complete disaster. Groot Gang had reported NTA to Rockstar in an attempt to shut them down, management from Rockstar was non-existent, work was barely getting done and was never on time, and this would all cultivate to NTA, the mind behind FiveM, being suspended from the company after just 3 weeks. On top of this, the FiveM team was now under the supervision of a director at Rockstar named Ethan Hirsch.
Which, by the way, is technically completely normal. No, I'm not talking about the being over. I'm talking about being overseen. I'm not talking about this inner politics stuff. This stuff, honestly, is very much Discord, Reddit mod behavior. That's all I gotta say.
And this director would do very little to solve the internal problems the company was facing.
Because he didn't
With
care.
NTA now out of the company and morale at an all-time low, Groot Gang sees this as an opportunity to cement themselves as the senior management of FiveM,
They
calling
wanna move
themselves
up.
the, and I quote, visionaries behind FiveM, and taking credit for the work other developers has done, causing a further rift between Groot Gang and the original developers. And if it can't get any worse, Ethan sides with Groot Gang for all of this. However, NTA couldn't just sit back and watch as Groot Gang tries to take over the project that they had worked on for years. So, as a sign of good faith, NTA proposed to pay 3 of the Groot Gang members a large portion of the money NTA had acquired a part of the acquisition, totaling over 6 million euros. NTA, regretting this decision, would then get sued by Groot in order to keep the funds he didn't deserve. However, the lawsuit was dropped after it was alleged that Groot had been secretly embezzling money from FiveM for some years.
This is why the first off, this whole thing, if you're saying to yourself, well, you gotta save FiveM. If you're looking and hearing all this right now, if this was any other company, you should shut it down and everyone should be glad. So we all need to be mature about this. And also, I have a video talking about the dark side of FiveM or GTRP, and the fact that you have actual developers embezzling money through FiveM tells you it's kind of a reflection of what FiveM is now. It's just a bunch of cash grabs, bunch of scamming. A lot of people call their servers content servers when they're actually not. You got to pay $300 for prio and all this crazy shit. And you're probably saying, well, how is it that it got this bad? Well, it started from the inside.
And he knew that he would have to show his bank records as part of the legal case, so Groot sent back the extra portion of the money that NTA had sent. This situation would get NTA back into the company for a little bit, only for Groot Gang to ignore NTA even more than before. Now down an extra 3 million euros and further away from the team than ever, NTA would once again be suspended after some complaints from Groot Gang members and be officially suspended from the FiveM team permanently. Now, after the doc was posted, it has been alleged that NTA wasn't fired for no reason at all. NTA has apparently done some unsavory things in the past to warrant this termination, but because no evidence has been shown as of yet, I will simply leave it at that. Now, with work on
the accusations is that NTA went rogue several times and turned off FiveM, or like did several things to just try to sabotage the whole like the whole platform as a whole, the whole mod. But ironically, even if that was true, the damage that is being done right now with all these cash grabs, these pay for prios, loot boxes, battle passes on things, on assets that already exist in game, it's crazy to me. Wild. That is far worse.
The project coming to an almost halt at this point, Ethan Hirsch decides to enlist the help of another server-based platform called Alt-V in a last-ditch effort to get things back on track, but it would instead have the complete opposite effect. I'm sure a lot of you by now are aware of the December 2023 leak where the GTA 5 source code was posted online and exposed a bunch of unreleased content that we never got for GTA 5. Well, it turns out that the culprit of this leak was a rogue employee, a part of Alt-V. I shit you not. While the Alt-V team was in talks with Rockstar about joining FiveM, they were also in the process of pooling their money together so they could purchase the GTA 5 source code. They would eventually acquire it for $7,000.
$7,000. So, again, if you're sitting here thinking FiveM was in a good place, you are delusional. I don't mean to be an asshole and like condescending, but you are absolutely delusional if you thought that FiveM was in a good place. As somebody who's played it, you could feel it. You could see the servers running like dog shit. But so bad that these developers, at every turn they had to be corrupt and really screw over FiveM, they took it.
And one of the members would post the leak on Discord to one of his buddies, along with the password the members needed to access it, which is how the world got their hands on it. Unaware to Rockstar at the time of who actually leaked this info, a member of the original developers named Disguise knows exactly who did it, but decides not to say who it was. Because of this, an obvious conflict arises between the original developers and the new Alt-V staff. So, Alt-V decides to team up with Groot Gang against them, and again, Ethan backs Groot Gang in this situation. This causes extreme suspicion with the original developers that Ethan, now a senior director at Rockstar, is secretly trying his best to dismantle FiveM in its entirety.
But the best part is, he's not even having to do anything. These people, that's the irony. Him by doing nothing, FiveM developers are actual Discord babies, Discord losers, are ruining the platform.
And what the team found out a few months later, it seems they may have been correct. Leaked documents from Rockstar had detailed the beginning of a new project the company had been working on called Project Rome, or otherwise known as Rockstar's
Rockstar's
online modding
make
engine.
and we've seen a little bit of this here and there in GTA 5 and in Red Dead. Uh if you paid attention to some of the features that they announced, like camera mode, stuff like that, I mean, you kind of see it with GTA Online, but even more, you see the frameworks more in Red Dead, if that makes sense. But we've all known that they were going to do something like this for a very long time, but the issue was is we never knew when it was coming because there was rumors that it stopped, started, stopped, started, stopped, started, stopped, and then when they actually acquired CFX, that's when the rumors kind of been were like, if they're gonna make it, they probably can't now because they have CFX. They don't need to. But little did we know that Discord losers could somehow ruin it for everybody.
The goal is for Rockstar to essentially create their own platform similar to the likes of Fortnite Creative
Fortnite.
and Roblox.
And you're saying, well, how do you verify that? There was a article by VGC, an actual news company that now these leaks were, I think, from they reported on them recently, but the leaks came from like a consultation that they had from like a year ago. So it means that it's already been in progress, which is crazy. But this is verified through the whole, not the 100-page document, but through an outside, or I guess it's hinted at in the 100-page document, but it's also verified on an outside source.
With its eventual use most likely to come with the launch of GTA 6 on PC.
Yep.
The original members suspected this to be a complete replacement for FiveM in the future.
It will be.
And this caused even more turmoil between FiveM and Rockstar.
And I think I need people to read this with FiveM is meant to be killed off someday, and the players are corralled like cattle into Rome where they can be more easily controlled and milked. I actually want to disagree with that because if you're on FiveM right now, you are absolutely being milked. You're forced to pay premium. You're forced to pay for there's loot boxes on RP servers. What? There's battle passes on our RP servers. What? And this is shit from already in the game. These aren't new things. Do you know the starter pistol you get in GTA Online? There's servers selling that for $50 just to lose it in game, and you have to buy it again because people want to RP gangsters. Here's the deal. The fact is, FiveM right now is complete and utter dog shit. So the fact is, I'm talking about technically and as a platform, and the community of FiveM ruined it. The community, us, I'm a part of the community. We ruined it. We ruined it from the front, and then the developers ruined it from the back. So this whole idea, it makes me mad because it's like, why are we trying to keep something that's dog shit? You know why people want to keep it? Because they're weird parasocial Andes, like they're these weird like Second Life people that gotta be online. But then there's the people who own these servers that are trying to milk the fuck out of the player base before it finally dies.
Everything the team had seen now points to the fact that FiveM will no longer be available within the coming years with the introduction of Project Rome, and it seems most likely that even the big servers have begun to abandon ship.
Again, no pixel has already been given early access to Rome. Now, that's the only one we know for sure, which is kind of obvious. But I want to say this, and I think this is probably the most important part. If you're playing on a server right now and playing money, and your server isn't one of these big ones that makes waves on the RP scene, you shouldn't expect that server to exist once this happens. Let me repeat that. If you're playing on a server right now and they can't come out and say, hey, or if it's not in a meaningful place, expect that server to die. Or to have the cloud, like say for example, I played on the server New Era RP. I had an all right time, but I don't expect it to be on the level. It's nowhere near the level of no pixel. So I would expect this server to if they're not in talks already with Rockstar directly, if the server owners are not in talks with Rockstar directly, expect that server to die.
and it seems most likely that even the big servers have begun to abandon ship. After the acquisition in 2024, Rockstar had announced new terms of service requirements for all servers, banning them from using real-world cars and assets in their server.
Yep.
Next, an owner of a successful server called RSM Project claimed that some servers were being targeted more than others and accused Rockstar of special treatment when it comes to these changes, and he may know exactly why that is.
Yep.
It has been alleged already that some of the biggest servers on FiveM, like NoPixel and Complexo, have been in talks with Rockstar to help them with Project Rome in exchange for allowing them to keep their server the way it is.
You hear that? Like I said, if your server, if the owners can't, if your owners don't have clout or motion in the RP scene like this, don't expect your server to exist. Don't expect the server to exist. And I want to say this too to the server owners who are just pretending like this isn't happening. You're part of the problem. The fact that you're just trying to milk your player base until the fact, obviously you don't want to burn the ship because you want to keep making your money, but the reality is it's going down. It's going down. So this whole playing like, oh, we're gonna do V2, V3, 2.5, 2.6. No, the game is coming out soon. You probably got another year max, another year at most, and even then, no one's gonna be playing FiveM. They're gonna be playing GTA 6. So you got a year to milk it. And if you do, you're still part of the problem, so congrats.
Rockstar has been seen doing live stream events with the Complexo server, where the stream openly shows the server violating Rockstar's new TOS by having real cars and assets. With the favoritism being shown and the discovery of Project Rome itself, arguments broke out between Ethan and the team, ultimately leading to one of the longest-lasting developers, Disguised, to be fired. Because of Disguised's termination, every last original developer of the FiveM team since before 2020 would immediately abandon the project as well, ending an era. By this point, FiveM is in complete shambles. The community and servers are constantly looking for new updates.
And they're not updating FiveM. The FiveM itself hasn't been really touched at all. Now the thing, and I'm talking about like this last year, right? I'm talking about as of recently. Now, if you're thinking you're going to sit here and do all this immediately when GTA 6 comes out with the server that you're already on, I wouldn't get your hopes up. Again, the irony is, if you're somebody who wants to get into, let's say, GTRP, it's going to be much easier for you to have your own server, your own thing. It's going to be much easier, much more accessible. So this whole pay to this weird access shit that these servers doing, these weird money grabs that these servers are doing, these pay to have an application shit, you're more than likely just be able to spend and have your own server. So there's going to be even more competition. There's going to be better competition, and you're not going to have to settle for dog shit servers anymore.
No actual work is being done.
Which, in that case, I will say this, if it comes out to be, gotta be careful what I say. If it comes out to be what I assume it is, what I suspect it could be, okay? All right, I gotta be careful what I say. If it comes out to be what I could possibly think it could be, if it could come out to be something that future me might, or then I would be able to make my own server much easier. I would make my own server because it would be easy for everyone to make one and to run it and not have to run into these weird shady buying scams for code, which by the way was GTA leaked code. So
to advance the project, and Rockstar couldn't care less as they focus on Project Rome. And that all brings us to where we are today. A company with no direction, no real team, no plan to get back on track, and ultimately doomed to be replaced by Project Rome. And all of this cultivates to this week when a coalition of members who felt they were betrayed would get together to write this 100-page expose about FiveM. Now, before we end, there's a few takeaways you need to remember from this situation. One is that it's not Rockstar's fault. In the document, the coalition says, everyone we spoke to would like to explicitly say that they have no hard feelings against Rockstar and still consider themselves fans. They speak positively about Rockstar and don't consider FiveM or the creator platform to be anything at all like them.
And that's where the irony comes into play. People say, oh, they bought it to kill it. Ironically, they could have probably wanted to actually keep it, but the developers and the community killed it. But there's so many legal problems that come with FiveM right now with the whole cash grab, scamming, TOS, copyrights, all that. The easiest way to solve all that, you know what it is for Rockstar? You know what the easiest way to solve every single one of those problems? Shut it down. Once Project Rome comes out and you can actually control everything and keep people from really ruining it, guess what? You solve your own problem and you get to launch something new. Imagine.
Rockstar has thousands of employees. Don't extrapolate the actions of FiveM to Rockstar or Take-Two. Rockstar employees don't get away with embezzling money, bullying their boss, or doing nothing for years. So while Rockstar may have been hatching an entire plan to replace FiveM in the future anyway with Project Rome, it was mainly the actions of a few bad actors in the FiveM team that drove the company to the position they are in today. Second takeaway is that we don't know exactly who wrote this document. Obviously, this document...
It's 300 pages, by the way. It's funny because I was just talking to somebody before recording this. I read all of it. And I want to link it in the description, but I'm a little concerned. I'm a little hesitant, but because it's not really anything like, I don't know. You could piece things together, but the document goes in detail and provides proof to a lot of things. It's actually insane. I have my suspicions on who it is. Okay. I can probably guess who it is. But I'm not. We realistically can't tell because there's so much detail and everything that it's hard to suspect if it's even just one person.
Extremely extensive, and it definitely shares.
Like, basically what I'm saying is there's no way it could be just one person. It had to be a group of them. That's the only way.
There's favoritism towards NTA and the original developers, but the author of this doc is simply known as the Coalition with no members mentioned of who exactly that was. New information may come to light, but judging from the fact that a lot of info in this doc is verifiable through screenshots and articles,
it's actually insane.
It seems most likely that this is the most accurate account of what happened to FiveM. And the last takeaway is that as of right now, FiveM is still playable. GTA RP is still one of the biggest games on Twitch.
But the viewers, it's actually declining a lot. In regards to like concurrent view, so like so GTA used to be right, so up and down, up and down, up and down. You see these numbers right now, not English audiences, it's the international audience. So when you're thinking, it didn't go down, it went down for majority of the RP space. The people that are watching are people who are new to the space. You see what I'm saying? So if you're an English speaking country and you're in the English community, the viewership for that has been declining hard, but it's been rising in countries that didn't have it when it was at its peak. You understand what I'm saying? So it's people who came in later into the game and now they're riding their own wave. But to tell you the truth, that's completely separate to what's actually the reality of the actual server, because there's less servers of those. If that makes sense. More people are watching than they are playing on that side of the world, whereas like here in the US the numbers are going down. Or not the US, but English speaking countries.
It seems that it will stay like that at least until GTA 6 is released.
I mean, just GTA 6 being announced is going to keep this alive.
But there is no denying that as soon as the PC version is released, Rockstar will have much bigger plans with Project Rome, and it's inevitable that FiveM will not be a part of these plans.
So, moral of the story, FiveM is dying. Thank God we can get rid of it. I am, as somebody who's been a part of this journey for so long, it's not just a chapter that closes in my life, but it's kind of nice to finally talk about this in a way that's actually productive, because there's so many people who are new to the space that kept coming every year that never got to see what it actually was like. FiveM, I'm not trying to say that like technically it was better, because there was less stuff on the actual servers themselves, but because of that, it took more RP to do. You see what I'm saying? So the RP was better, servers are better, like they had better populations. But as they people realized that they can make all this crazy amounts of money, servers decided to just go straight downhill, and there was nothing stopping it. So if you're playing on a server right now, my best advice is to save your money and wait till Project Rome comes out and be able to start your own server. Because the reality is, if what I could assume is true, based on information I've read, it's going to be easy for anybody, and I will start my own. So you heard it here first. Love you guys. Congratulations. I'll check you out on the next one. Bye-bye. This video is brought to you actually by viewers like you. Thank you so much for subscribing and being part of my journey and allowing me to be a part of yours. Let's create new memories this 2025 on our road to 1 million subscribers. And with all that jazz out of the way, I just want to say thank you so much. I love y'all and enjoy the video.